Old School Bodybuilding Clothing Company. If you wish your fancy fitness center was a hardcore gym, you are old school. If you just ate chicken and rice and are about to eat chicken and rice, you are old school. OSBBC.com for the hardest training athletes.
I'm Dave Palumbo, founder of Species Nutrition. I created Species Nutrition with one mission in mind: to provide bodybuilders and serious athletes with no-nonsense supplements that work and are backed by science. From my earliest bodybuilding days, I believed in only putting the best in my body, and that lives on in the Species Nutrition line of products. We use only top-of-the-line formulations dosed for maximum results and the best flavoring systems available. I put my name and reputation on every bottle of Species Nutrition products. If you want to be your absolute best, join the evolution. Welcome back to RXMuscle's Iron Road to the Olympia 2020, brought to you by Species Nutrition. I'm Dave Palumbo, and I'm joined today by our 212 runner-up the past 2 years at the Olympia. The guy I'm talking about, of course, is Derek Lunsford. Welcome to the show.
Hey, Dave. Thanks for having me. It's been a minute, but
Yeah.
I'm happy to be back.
Yeah, I got to ask you right off the bat because, I'm a straight shooter. Do you feel like maybe you've been a guy who hasn't been getting as much attention going into this 212 Olympia as you should, seeing that you've been the runner-up the past 2 years? The guy, aside, you've been the guy everyone talked about the last 2 years. And then this year, like, we've been hearing a lot about George Peterson since he switched over. Obviously, Kamal Agargny out here training with Flex Lewis. He's been getting a lot of press. What's your take on it? And do you like the fact that you've kind of been floating under the radar a little bit?
I don't like it nor dislike it. I mean, it is what it is. I love all the hype for myself, or whether it be for the 212 or any other bodybuilder. I actually genuinely like the fact that these guys are getting the attention that they deserve. Mm-hmm. I couldn't say that maybe before, where I wanted it more like kind of eyes on you, but right. I like it because it does create the hype for our division, and these are tremendous bodybuilders that deserve this respect. And so I like seeing the fact that they're getting all this recognition. And at the end of the day, I realized that what I needed to do from last year to this year was just bury my head and not worry about that right. hype or trying to create any more excitement than needs to be. Because really, at the end of the day, if I just bury my head and do what I need to do and be my best, then that will be exciting enough, right? When it comes show day. Same is true right. with all these other competitors. If we all just put the time, effort, and do what we need to do to be our best, which I believe every 212 guy is doing, it's going to be a very exciting show, which is why the 212 seems to be getting a whole lot of hype right now.
I almost think that the 212 is like a little bit more, almost aside from the fact that Phil Heath came back. I mean, I think the 212 is a really exciting division. I mean, I would have liked to see Keon Pearson in there too, but he pulled out obviously. But with George Peterson moving up from Classic, Sean Clarita improving every single year, you're the guy who's been waiting in the wings, so to speak, and then Kamal Agargny, who's the people think Dexter's amazing at 50. This guy is improving at 50, almost 50 years old. It's unbelievable. And so to me, that level of excitement is tremendous because no one really knows who's going to win this. And that to me.
Well, I'm still a fan of the sport, right?
Yeah.
I'm a super fan still. I just get to compete in the Olympias.
So. Yeah, exactly. You get to be there.
Yeah. So, but yeah, I mean, I definitely don't disagree when you say that the 212 is getting maybe the most hype out of any division. However, it is really exciting to see, the classic rivalries. You got the Open with everything, all the champs coming back. But you know what? Like, I'm surprised not more people are talking about is the women's bodybuilding. That to me is very exciting. Like
I've been talking about it, but not many other people talking about it. I've been getting the girls on,
but just in general across the board, which I noticed that it is getting more and more hype each and every week. But I just that to me is very exciting. I remember when I did the Tampa Pro, I actually didn't even really know too much about Jake Wood. I just knew that he was very much involved with the women's bodybuilding.
Sure.
And I knew some female bodybuilders who had inspired me, even from Indiana, the Isabel Terrell. She inspired me early on and told me to go for it, when I was first competing. So I just remember going up to him at the Tampa Pro when I competed 2017.
Yeah.
And I was just like, man, like, I love what you're doing. Great things. Like, and at the time we didn't have the female bodybuilding other than the Wings of Strength.
Right.
And I just think it's really cool that that's coming back. And I'm very excited to see that division as well.
I like the fact that, because I was kind of pissed off, to be honest with you, when they removed women's bodybuilding. I thought it was a really bad move on their part. It was kind of a disgrace in a sense. They could have fixed the division the right way instead of just getting rid of it and trying to replace it with women's physique. So the great like revenge for women's bodybuilding was that Jake Wood, who was a women's bodybuilding fan, stepped in initially and saved women's bodybuilding, and then ultimately became the savior of the open bodybuilding division.
That's unbelievable. It still is unbelievable to me that I said this in another podcast that I did. I said it still is unbelievable to me that we not only are having the Mr. Olympia competition, the Super Bowl of bodybuilding, but we actually had like a season. Like Tim Gardner and Steve Weinberger and everyone came there to make this happen. And,
the whole season was in Florida, but that's fine,
Hey, but I mean, how many other sporting events had a season or anything?
No, I know. You're right.
And I think that this is, I'm very much certain that 2021 is going to be a huge year for the NPC and bodybuilding and really just gym goers and fitness enthusiasts. So 2021 is going to be huge.
I hope they come out with this vaccine sooner than later, because that will really, I think, dictate whether the season will be, quote, normal or not. Because if there is no vaccine, obviously there's going to still be a lot of, precautions. And
with you being in Florida, I'm pretty sure that we're getting the first vaccination, actually specifically in Tampa.
That's what I heard. I heard, well, the healthcare workers, it will be the first in line and stuff like that, and older people. But I think that once they have that, thing being done, what's going to happen is you're not going to have, as many restrictions. The problem is that, look, when you compete, when you're on that Olympia stage, you want 1 million people in that arena screaming for you, because that raises you up to a much higher level, and so I can't, when really I watch
a crazy thing that for those who have never competed at the Mr. Olympia, to look out from the stage and to see so many people and the light shining on you, it's for some people it might be scary and like, oh my gosh, it's that make or break moment for people. But for me and other guys, I think that it's just like we own it because it's so exciting. Like you said, it's just wow. Look at this crowd, man. Like how many thousands of people are here to watch this? So it's just cool.
And I don't know if you saw that Tyson Roy Jones Jr. fight the other day.
I didn't see it, but I kind of followed it.
But you know what? There was like one guy in the audience cheering, like saying, yeah, there was no one there. How do you fight? It was like a sparring session. How do you fight, without like the crowd there, behind you?
There's a limited crowd, this year compared, to last year. I mean, we're professionals and we're going for the Mr. Olympia title, the 212 title. You don't think every guy is going to be battling?
Of course.
This is going to be exciting, man. And the fact that they have a pay-per-view this year, it's perfect timing because there's no excuses for people not to watch the Mr. Olympia this year.
I've already signed up for it. I've signed up.
Oh, you did? Cool.
Yeah, I did, because I'm not going to go. So I got to have my, if you sign up, I think before December 8th, it's $10 cheaper for the entire weekend. So I recommend that people go to, and sign up, because it's going to be a much better deal. If you wait, it's going to be $10 more. And I know no one's going to want to just sign up for one day. You're going to want the whole package. So I recommend that. And obviously my staff will be out there, covering the show. We'll have a lot of RXMuscle exclusive coverage out there. But the bottom line is, like you said, it's happening. And they're selling, I think they're going to sell like, a couple thousand tickets, which is good. So don't wait if you're going to go to the show, because they will sell out. Guaranteed, because there's only a limited amount of tickets that they're allowed to have. So luckily in Florida, the restrictions are much lower. Now let's talk about you for a second, because you have been, 3 years ago, you won the USA, you went right into Tampa Pro, you won that. So, a lot of people don't realize that you the next weekend you won and qualified for the Olympia. And then, you're at the Olympia and you place top 5. You're all in the same first year. I mean, people were like, raving. This is finally we got some new talent in the 212, young guy. The next year you play second, which is awesome. People were really hyping. And then the following year we thought you were going to win. Okay. And that's, that's a lot of pressure on you. Did you find that going into last year's Olympia that you felt maybe too much pressure and that it did something to you in terms of how you looked on stage?
No, I don't think it was necessarily pressure as much as it was. I was just had an immature mindset.
Mm-hmm.
I think
Explain.
I needed to grow up a little bit. You know what I mean? I needed to get mentally tougher, physically tougher, and I needed to learn how to be a better bodybuilder, especially a professional bodybuilder, right? And through last year's kick in the stomach, expecting to already come in and win, and not that it wasn't like I didn't put the effort in, my body couldn't have been ready. I just think it wasn't time, right? Like I think I talk a lot about my Christian faith. I think that had something to do with it. I think that God was just like, hey, it's not your time yet, right?
Right.
So,
so do you think what you're suggesting was it wasn't that it was a physical thing, it was maybe an emotional and mental thing. You weren't ready mentally to take that on that responsibility?
No, I definitely should have been better. I mean,
well, but your mind could affect how your body looks too.
Yeah, I mean, there was a lot of variables at the end too, whereas like I just wasn't able to sleep. I took a sleep aid and I couldn't sleep, and I had like 4 hours of sleep that week.
Yeah, that's not good.
I just literally couldn't sleep, and it had nothing to do with like the show. I just couldn't sleep. I just was up. And,
yeah, but do you think that could be pressure though? So anxiety and pressure because you feel like
I just like was on my phone, like not looking at Instagram. I was just on my phone or just like I don't know. That's what I was saying is I learned how to be a better professional or a better bodybuilder. Sorry, because through the prep, I was trying to. Muscle and Strength just released a nice video they did on me. A very good editing job Dan did. For Muscle and Strength, he came here and stayed with me and explains a lot. I also did a podcast yesterday with Fuad Abiyad. Explains a lot about this past year. It's been a really rough year, but through those obstacles, I've learned a lot about myself. Grew a lot as a person.
What happened? Give us the the brief.
Yeah, that's why. Well, within the other podcasts and stuff, I don't want to talk about my personal life too much because it's pretty things that hit home for anyone. I had several things that really hit home, and it wasn't just about bodybuilding Olympia. It was actually personal stuff that I don't want to talk about. But
okay.
So anyhow, but
so you're saying your personal life kind of maybe interceded and got in the way of
with the Olympia, but after the Olympia, I had some personal issues going on.
Gotcha.
Which a lot of people went through a lot of things this year with the COVID. So I'm not trying to compare and say I have it worse. I have a very good life. The thing is people see it. I always try to put out this positive message. I want people to see like the positive side of my life and not. I don't want people to think, oh, Derek's complaining or he has this problem. I don't want people to really know my problems. I want people to see the inspiration I give them and the motivation.
Sure.
So that's why I'm kind of bad about talking about that kind of stuff. But anyway, let's put that in the past. I just had to grow up from last year, man, and learn how to be a better bodybuilder. Whereas I thought I needed to be like, go, go, go all the time. And so I was, trying to stay awake because, bodybuilding's tiring, man. So I would maybe drink extra caffeine, like coffee or like have, take, whatever just to keep me going. And it just, if anything, you need to just chill out when it's time to chill out. So I just learned how to, my daily regiment. I just learned how to fit it in better as a bodybuilder, but also in my own personal life, where I can just like I'm here with my fiance. We're doing some do-it-yourself projects around the house. And also my living conditions are much different. I was living in a 500 square foot apartment that was closed in. I was miserable, man.
Yeah.
I was miserable the last several years. And as tough as bodybuilding is, you need to be more comfortable than miserable if you can make it.
Sure.
So this year I just decided, I'm like, look, like I just kind of put it in my head, like this is it. I'm going to go all in and commit fully to, the absolute, not that I didn't give everything I had before, but I'm going to say, this is what I'm going to do for a while. I'm going to be here and I'm going to be getting better and competing for a while. So I want to do everything I can to learn and grow and be the best I can. And it starts now. And so I just I made a commitment fully to just, burying my head and not, like we said, getting caught up in like the hype and things like that, and just coming back better this year.
Are you suggesting that social media maybe was getting the best of you, and that you felt that you had this like need to participate too much?
That's the thing. I was like, you would think that I oh my God, I got psyched out. I never.
No. I'm not even talking about. I'm talking about just putting content up and social media sucks a lot of life out of you and a lot of time out of your day.
Yeah, definitely. I definitely. It is tiring for sure. I am getting my YouTube up and going again. And yes, it does take a lot from you to do that. Just even if it is just a little bit of a distraction, like, hey, can you like explain this exercise? I'm like, oh, I'd rather just be sitting here focused on my next set, right?
Right. Well, it's also, sometimes, contest time, it's better to maybe just close off all that, and just stay off the phone, so to speak, the last couple of weeks. And then, believe me, there's so much time afterwards that you can get back on there and make up for lost time. But, I sometimes think that if I was competing these days, maybe it would be good I'm trying to think how I would deal with it. I'm like trying to think maybe it would be good just to kind of turn it off.
Right?
Turn it off, right?
Balance. You have to do enough to put yourself out there and to make sure that people know that you're working hard and that you're coming and that you're all is good and that you are creating some hype and some interest. But at the same time, you can't allow that to distract you. And number one, I'm a competitor. I'm an athlete, and I'm competing for that Mr. Olympia title, 212 title this year. So that's the number one focus, and number two would be the content, versus before it was like you said earlier, I don't know if it was on camera, off camera, but we were talking about how building a business, right? Yeah. And through bodybuilding. So that is all true. But you also have to be a great bodybuilder first.
Yeah, look, the best bodybuilder is going to win on a stage, and it's not necessarily the guy who has the biggest social media following or the guy who makes the most money. It's the guy with the best physique at the end of the day. And we know that you have the tool set, obviously, to win the Olympia. The question is dialing it in on the day of the show, because that's the day that the judges vote who's the best body.
That's correct.
What steps have you done? What have you changed in your routine from, last season or maybe the year before that to kind of ensure that we're going to see the best Derek Lunsford's not a week or two out from the show, but on the day of the show?
Well, all that I just mentioned, man, like, first of all, my mindset's completely different. There's no complaining. There's no this and that. Like, I actually genuinely wake up every single morning and look forward to my day. I could not have said that before in any.
Why? How come you didn't look forward to your day before that, Derek?
I just didn't. I was so miserable. I wasn't tough enough, man. Like, as tough as I thought I was, I don't know, man. I knew I had another level to go, and I was like, now I'm embracing everything about it. Like, I think also too is I have actually been watching a lot of other guys that I used to watch on their social medias. Right. Some other veterans that I always looked up to. I'll mention, like I said, Fuad, Abiad, Juan Morel. I've been watching a lot of him too. I'm a big fan of his, and Jay Cutler. I watch a lot of these guys, and I just seeing them live a normal life and not complaining and embracing the bodybuilding lifestyle. It's like, why am I ever complaining? And another thing too, it's like, I said this in the podcast yesterday, which I think is super cool. I met this guy at this gym I've been going to here in Florida. I've been training out of Suncoast Fitness in St. Pete. I've also been training out of Powerhouse Gym Athletic Club in Tampa. Okay. So those are my two gyms I've been going to. Right. Shout out to those gyms. And if you're in the area, you should definitely check them out.
Yep. Powerhouse, great.
Yeah, but I met this guy the other day, an older gentleman, and he's walking. I just seen him consistently every day. He's working with a trainer, and he can barely get around. I'm like, when I say barely get around, he's barely moving. And he's walking out. He's by himself. He's coming to his car, and I'm walking in. I said, hey, I just want to introduce myself. I said, Derek Lunsford. I was like, I'm a bodybuilder. I said, obviously your goals are a little different than mine. I said, but I just want to let you know that I recognize your consistency and your hard work. And I was like, it's really awesome and motivating and inspiring to me. Cool. That you're in here every day giving your all. And he just stood there and listened to me and looked up at me. He's a little shorter guy, older guy. Right. he looks up at me with almost tears in his eyes, and he just says, "I'm 91 years old."
Was he real 91? Wow.
And this is not easy for me. And he said it just like that, like with like shortness of breath, just like barely able to even say that. And I'm like, oh my God, why is anybody that's competing complaining then? Because we are doing this because we love it. We want to do it. And I just thought, you know what? That's it, man. Like this guy's in here because of his health and his living. And I'm over here going, I'm going to diet doing cardio and training. Like,
I hope I live to 91. This guy's working out. That's great.
So I don't know, man, it's probably hard for a lot of people to believe that a person can have such a radical shift in the mindset. But when you choose something and you commit fully to it, you can do anything. And I think I've proved that with wrestling. I wasn't the greatest at wrestling, but I definitely went from getting my butt whooped. And in 3 or 4 years, I ended up getting a scholarship to go to college to wrestle. If you think about like my fiance, she's going to grad school. Those programs are 3 to 5 years.
Sure.
I believe that in bodybuilding, in 3 to 5 years, I could be a professional.
How old are you now? You 20? What are you? 26?
27. And I believe, I believe if you want to have a shift of your mindset of any sort, if you commit to something fully, anything, business, whatever, I think when you finally say, this is what I want to do because I want to do it, I love it, I'm passionate about it or whatever, and I'm going to see it through no matter what. Yeah. I think within 3 to 5 years, you can be very successful at whatever it is you decide to do in life.
I happen to agree 100%. Now, I'm putting up a picture. If you come in looking like this, no one's beating you. How many weeks out was this from the 19?
Let's see here. September 17th. What is that? Oh, wait. No, it must have been after then.
This says, yeah.
I would say that's probably like 3 weeks out or something, 2, 3.
That's insane.
Yeah. That looks nice.
That looks nice. That would have won the show, right?
Maybe.
I think so. you got to like you got to stop dieting it like 2 weeks out. Just don't change anything at that point because obviously that's
more
when you
food
look
this time.
Yeah. How much did you weigh here?
Not a couple weeks ago. Holy cow, dude! Oh man, that was a little rough for a minute, but we're feeling better now.
How much do you weigh here?
Push. What?
How much do you weigh here? This picture.
There, I'm probably 220-ish.
Do you have a problem making the weight?
No.
I'm not saying in terms of sucking down. You got the right, but you got the wrestler mentality. I'm not talking about that. Does it change the way you look on stage when you have to make weight? That's a better question.
Well, I mean, I think anybody that has a weight restriction is going to look not as good. I mean, the classic guys could look better if they had 10 more pounds, 15 more pounds, but that's not the division. We're competing in the 212. So, yeah, I mean, I do believe I put on more size and weight. It's going to look different. I think could be better, but at the same time, if I'm very competitive and I'm going for that 212 Olympia title and I can win that 212 title, hey, maybe that's the division I should be in.
You're 27. Flex Lewis moved up to the Open. Do you ever think about that? I mean, the only reason I throw it out there is I'm looking at that picture and you look insane there. And I'm saying this guy could win pro shows, in the Open division looking like that. And I'm thinking maybe you're losing. Maybe it's not you. Maybe your physique loses something when you have to suck down that low.
I have aspirations to compete more and just be more involved. I don't know. Whatever it is, I will continue to get better, whether it be in the 212 or whether it be in the Open. My promise and commitment is to continuously get better, not for anyone else, but because I want to, and I'm going to do it.
Look, when I was bodybuilding, the goal was to improve and be better and bigger than you were the year before. And it's hard. Yeah. You're kind of in a weird spot now because you can't really get bigger because you can't make the weight, and you're not. Well, you could make the weight, but you're not
I've noticed
showing off.
My physique has gotten harder and denser this year. Mm-hmm. An extra year of training has.
Sure.
I put on extra, that density, that muscle maturity. And also, like, kind of, I said last year I was going to etch out some detail and some muscle groups that I didn't have before. So there's improvements I can make in the 212. I don't see why I'd have to rush up to the Open. But then again, if the opportunity is there, that'd be cool too. I could do both. That's the thing. Like, I don't have to be just a 212. I can be
absolutely.
But I don't know. Either way, man, I want to be involved in this industry, in this sport, and I want to see more guys coming up, and I want to see more people on the NPC level doing their first, second show truly believe in themselves. I don't want to hear people say, you shouldn't be saying I'm going to make it to the Olympics. No, if you want to make it, I said it in 2014. I said, by 2018, I want to be at the Olympia. I want to be a professional, and I want to be at the Olympia by 2018. Okay? And I committed to that. And I think if more people just said, I'm going to do it too, I think you would see a lot. And I think it is happening. I see it happening year after year now.
Right. I think that you should do like the New York Pro in the Open division in 2021 and test the waters. I really did. I'm not saying it. Look, I don't blow smoke up anyone's ass. I think you should do it and just test the waters. You know what? If it doesn't work out the experiment, then you go back to 212.
It's a good idea. Definitely.
Seriously. You at 225 on stage is going to be deadly. I'm telling you.
Don't think I'm not thinking about the 2021 schedule. Because I am, but for the next 15 days, I'm hyper focused.
I would stay focused on the Olympia for now.
Oh,
exactly.
Dude, since the night of last year's Olympia,
right,
I've been hyper focused. And the thing is, I think people misunderstood that because I took a step back and went away, and I did what I needed to do for myself. And I talk about having this shift in the mindset. People are like, oh, he lost it. And this and he's like, guys, look, I have to do what I have to do for myself. I know me, and I know the direction that I want to go. And somebody said this the other day to me. They said, basically remember or know who you're becoming. And I was like, wow, like you have to know who you're becoming. Like, don't forget that. And I was like, And he didn't mean it egotistically. It's just like, who are you becoming through your actions, through your words, through your habits? And I was like, I need to create really good habits in my character and in my life on a daily basis if I want to be this person. So,
you're training your mind now as opposed to just your body, and I think that that's changing your outlook on and what how you're viewing, what you're doing. And I think that it's the old Wayne Dyer, when you change the way you look at things, the things you look at change. And
Absolutely.
I think that you have a much more I guess.
Well, it goes in every aspect of my life. I could talk about just bodybuilding and stuff, but also like I just had this deep conversation for about an hour with my fiance. It's like, we love each other and we want to strengthen our relationship. I want to strengthen my relationship with others outside of my friends and family, whether it be business or whatever, or just any relationship I have or whatever. I want to strengthen myself so that I can strengthen that relationship with others, and I can strengthen my foundation in bodybuilding, just everything. I just want to level up in every area of my life. And I think, there was some time where I got distracted. I think there was a bit of an ego to where I was like, okay, I've got it down pretty well now. And then once you start thinking you got it figured out,
you're done.
Like you hit rock bottom and you go, well, now time to level up again.
The universe teaches you a big lesson. Yeah,
and it'll happen again and again and again. I'm not saying that, I'm going to blow up and have a big head or anybody is going to do that. I'm just saying that there's always going to be highs and there's always going to be lows.
Sure.
And it's how you approach it. And I like where I'm at right now as far as just, I love my life, man. I'm very happy and thankful for where we're at.
You seem like you're in a really good place mentally, physically, emotionally. So I want to wish you the best of luck over the next couple, week and a half or so. And
you want to make me a commitment, huh?
What?
Am I coming down there did you talk to Sid?
No. What did he say?
I thought we were trying to set something up.
Oh yeah, we're gonna do some training stuff, right? You want to talk training, right?
I just want to be more involved, man.
I love it because I think you have very good insights into training and stuff like that, and I think that I'd like to do more with that. Yeah, absolutely, if you're into it.
I have my ideas, my theories. I've learned from a lot of great people.
Yeah.
I learned a tremendous amount from Jay Cutler and Phil Heath early on, watching their YouTube content.
Yeah.
I learned a lot from Ben Pekulski, training side by side with him. So, and just a lot of
you have trained with a lot of people, for a young guy. Yeah.
Yeah, and I just I've tried to develop, and I'm in the gym every day anyway, and I always feel like I'm going to practice with every set. So that's always how I felt. But I enjoy it. It's not like a chore to me. It's not a job. I thought maybe it needed to be a job. I thought maybe it needed to be tasks and chores that I had to do every day.
Yeah.
But now it's just what I love to do, and I'm going to do it anyway.
Yeah, we're good. Let's do it. I want to do we're going to do a little training series with Derek about how to train properly, his insights and that kind of stuff. And absolutely, after the Olympia and after you become crowned the 212 Mr. Olympia, we're going to we'll do something. Absolutely. You know what? Like I said, best of luck. The great thing about this Olympia is that you can get in your car and take your time and drive over across to the East Coast over there to Orlando. And that you can't discount that. This is a home field advantage for you. You're not going to have to get on an airplane. Although
there's a lot of guys.
Kamal is also coming
Kamal's
from Florida too. So
there's a few other competitors in the Tampa area as well, like Olympic, but actually there's a lot of Olympic competitors that are in driving distance.
I know.
So
Isn't it weird?
It's kind of almost like this is the place to be.
I know. Florida's the new is the new California.
So
right?
I'm not the only one getting the home field advantage, but
right.
it is definitely nice to be able to drive and not
Yeah.
fly. However, I do love Vegas, and I plan to probably go to Vegas just for a trip to train and hang out, maybe with my fiance and meet up with some other bodybuilders out there.
It's a good time to go. No one's there, so you could probably get a cheap flight. You probably get a cheap flight. It's a good hotel.
And we have Allegiant Airline, and we also have Spirit Airline here at the two different airports. So those are super cheap tickets to go around the U.S.
Yeah,
and we, of course, have like the international Tampa.
I like you're like me. You're like very thrifty. I'm like I don't have to be like I don't need any like extravagant like seats or anything like that. Just put me on a cheap flight.
Ticket and I'll go.
Yeah. I hate wasting money on airplane tickets. I think it's such a waste.
Why?
I love sitting in first class, but I really can't get myself to spend the money.
I'm going to be crammed in there anyway, man.
Yeah, exactly.
Sit in the airport.
Well, Derek, I really hope to see you up on that stage with your hand raised high. You've worked very hard for it, and thanks for taking time talking to us.
Yeah, thank you for having me on, Dave. Really appreciate it.
All right, guys, and that's going to take us to the end of another RXMuscle Iron Road to the Olympia 2020, brought to you by Species Nutrition. I'm Dave Palumbo with Derek Lunsford. We'll see you next time.